All right, so this is the iDrive-7 system. We're going to go ahead and get started today with connecting the system to our profile. We're going to build a driver profile. A driver profile is very important. Without it, we can't save all of our settings to the car. So by saving everything and associating them with a driver, that way your settings are remembered anytime you go to get in the car. So I'm going to use the touch screen here just so that you can see what I'm doing. You can always use the control knob in the middle if you want to move around, but this way it'll be a little bit easier. So we're going to come over to car from our main menu over here, and then driver profiles. So we're going to go ahead and add a driver profile at the bottom right over here. I'm going to tap on that. And then we've got login. Now, if you already have a BMW Connected Drive account, then this is going to be the username, and then after this will prompt you for the password. Your username is the same email that you use to get into your BMW Connected Drive account. If you do not have an account, this is a lot easier to do by going to connecteddrive.bmwusa.com, and then from there you can register your profile, your driver profile. You'll be able to use your email and your password for that, and then you can log in with it here. Once you log in, the car is going to ask you to synchronize your driver profile settings. You'll want to say yes to that. Then it's also going to ask on the driver recognition area over here if you want to activate linkage. Linkage means the car is using the key that it's seeing and associating it with you, which is why you want to only have one key inside the car when you're doing this. You'll go ahead and you'll activate linkage so that the car is remembering that key to you, and then all of the settings from your profile will be associated with that key whenever you approach the car and get inside and start the car. So we're going to go ahead and back out of here, and then we're just going to go through a couple different things on the iDrive-7 system. So once you have a profile on the system, you can then start saving some features to the car or some functions to the car. We'll go ahead and get started here with the iDrive-7 system. This is our main menu over here. We've got our map, and then we have a couple of what they call widgets over here. There's different screens for widgets. You can add multiple widgets if you want. These three are usually the best because they are the most used in the system. There is a menu that slides down from the top over here where we can adjust those widgets by tapping on that menu. I'm going to leave these here where they are for now. You can also press and hold on a widget if you want to change it, but again, I'm going to leave them where they are. So what we'll do is we're going to get started at the top here, and then we're going to back up over here. We're going to get started at the top over here, and we're going to work our way down. So starting off, we're going to get started with media. Now, for your radio stations here, Sirius XM, FM, and AM, there's a couple different things you can do for storing presets. The easiest way is to build a presets list. There's 2 presets on this already. And then I usually recommend storing the entire preset list to one of the numbered programmable memory keys down here. So buttons number 1 through 8. These will store anything in the car that you highlight and then press and hold. So for example, if we wanted to store the entire Sirius XM menu and I press and held button 3, then that menu would be on 3. So what we'll do, for example, is we'll build a couple more presets into this preset list. So if I was in FM, for example, I could come over here, and if I wanted to put 90.9 onto a preset list, I would simply tap add to presets over here. Then we can come back over here and we're going to see in the presets menu that's stored to our preset list over here at 90.9. So to put one of these, or again, almost anything in the entire car, onto one of these numbers over here, I would highlight presets. If I want to put the whole list onto button number 2, I would press and hold button number 2. And in this case, it's already on there, but that's how we would store it. So presets is now on button number 2. And we can put up to 40 presets, 40 radio stations into the presets list of any combination of FM, AM, or satellite. Okay, coming down Spotify. This is an app integrating directly with our phone. So this is going to be looking for the app on our phone so we can use our Spotify channel through the car. Music collection, this is a built-in 20 gigabyte partition of the hard drive that runs the car for storing music directly to the car. Now to do this, there's a USB port in the center below. It's just going to be off camera here. You would plug in a thumb drive into that port. MP3, MP4 audio is usually the best. And then from there, you'd be able to access the thumb drive within this list. It would come up as USB. You would tap on that, and then you would go to import or store to store your audio files to the car. Again, you have 20 gigabytes of space. So the rest of these we're going to see redundantly throughout the whole car so that they're easy to access. Our next menu is going to be our communication menu. So I'm going back to the home menu, and then here's our comm menu, our communication menu. So we've got our contacts in here that's going to display the contacts on our phone as long as we allowed them when we initially paired our phone. If we're pairing a phone, mobile devices, for example, here's a couple of phones that have been stored on here. I would add a new device, phone calls and audio, and then I would find the Bluetooth signature on the phone. And in my case, I'm using an iPhone, so I would come in here with my phone into Bluetooth, and then I would find BMW 59183, the last 5 digits of the VIN number, and then from there I would pair it and just follow the directions. I would click on the car from the phone. At this point in time, we're just waiting for the pair to finish, and then I would click pair on the phone, and then I would hit yes over here on the car's end to pair the two together. Once the pairing is done, we'll see. Let me go and back out of here because I elected not to do it. We would then see our contacts from our phone after we hit allow inside the contact list here, same as we'd see them on the phone. And then again, mobile devices, if we want to pair multiple phones to the car. If we want to remember multiple devices to the car, we can certainly do so. So we'll go ahead and come out of here. Our navigation system is our next system here. This is a Google Maps powered system. There's a lot that it will do. The primary functions that we're going to be using the system are classic input, where we go to input an address over here. We can also press the microphone button on the right spoke of the steering wheel with our thumb, and then we can speak in the address by saying drive to, and then the entire address, as we would see here. Now this is the address of BMW Fairfax. So we would go through as such, and then it's asking for the name of the city here. Now I can type, if we're doing Fairfax, FAI, and then I can see that the finished options are here. So I can tap on these to speed things up and work my way through it. And then when I'm done, I can select start guidance. So we'll take a street name, a highway, and then 8427 is the address of BMW Fairfax. We'll hit OK, and we're going to tap start guidance. Again, this can be done with the control wheel. We can also draw on the control wheel. There's other options to do that, but we'll just go this route for now. So now the car has started guidance and we're on our way. We'll go ahead and zoom out just a little bit on the screen over here. But once we start moving, the car is then going to try and take us to the BMW of Fairfax Sales Center, which in this case is directly across the street. Now, once we're in guidance, there's a couple ways we can stop guidance. The easiest way to do so here is to press the microphone button on the steering wheel, the voice entry key, and then say stop guidance. Saying stop guidance or stop navigation, as well as cancel guidance or cancel navigation will suffice. We can also come over here to the top of this right-hand menu inside the map, and then we can tap cancel route, which is the same as stopping guidance. Now, by default, the car is going to take us around traffic, accidents, and construction automatically. It updates every 40 seconds, so it's very responsive to our environment. We can see what's going on around us just by tapping in any given area, and then we'll have a definition of what's going on. So we'll back out of these. A couple different options here on the right flank of the screen. Theme map. Our parking map over here will find select parking areas, particularly garages like this one over here, and the garages that have the lights on the ceiling, the green and red lights. Most of those systems are on a network that are reporting vacant parking spaces. And this car will tap into that network. It will talk to that network. So if we tap drive to parking space, this is going to take us to the most immediate parking space available within that parking garage. If I tap show list over here, we can see our options specifically for the garages, and then I can go into the garage and I can get more information on that garage. We've got hours of parking over here, garages that charge for parking. We'll also have their pricing on some of these lists as well. So we'll come out of here, and then we'll come back out of here. So what we'll do now is we're going to tap back. Next on our theme map is the weather map. This is just giving us overhead weather. It's good for taking long trips. And then finally in the theme map, our gas station map. What's nice with this map is when we find gas stations, we can look at recent pricing of gas, which is a very nice feature. I can tap on this gas station, show list. Let's say I'm interested in that Sunoco. I can scroll down over here and then I can see the fuel prices and then when they were updated, which is, again, a very nice feature to have, very convenient feature, especially if it's in an area you don't recognize. So we'll go ahead and come back out of this menu again. Now in our map settings over here, usually I leave this on perspective. If you prefer a two-dimensional map, then you can come over here, direction of travel, and now you're looking down at your map. Perspective gives you a 3D variant of that map. Automatic zoom means that the map will zoom in or out with highway speed. For example, if you're going down the highway at 60, 70 miles an hour and you're coming up to an exit ramp, the map will zoom out so that you have a wide radius of your field of view when you're about to encounter that exit ramp. A couple other things on map settings, map options, the contents for what we see on the map. I like to leave most of these on. Traffic lights, 3D buildings, etc. And then we have a settings menu over here. And this allows us to adjust some of the more permanent settings inside the map as well. For example, route preferences, I can have the car default to taking us the fastest, the shortest, or the most energy efficient route. Dynamic routing, we usually leave this on with confirmation. This is the car's way of asking permission to deviate off of your planned route in the event it finds a faster way due to a traffic situation. Automatic will reroute you without your consent. Confirmation will present it to you, and then you can tap on the new route the car is recommending or the current route if you want. So with confirmation is usually preferred. Guidance settings, we usually leave all of these checked off. The demo mode will take you through your route the way it would look in real time. So if we were in any of the routes, we'll go to our recent destinations and just pick up our last route.
Please proceed to the highlighted route.
The car is now going to take us through the route. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the voice guidance so that it's not talking over us. And already the car is done with the route. We only had a couple of seconds there, but with demo mode on, let's come back over here. With demo mode on inside our settings menu, this means that when we go to put a route in, the car is going to take us through the route the exact way it would look as if we were driving down the road. This makes it a little bit easier to plan our routes, very good for using for long trips. That way we can visualize where we're going before we get there. So as we can see, when I'm approaching the screen, it's generating the menu again for me. We're going to go back into our settings menu here. Oops. Go back into our settings menu. And we'll turn off the demo mode for now. Okay, those are the basic functions of the system here. The split screen can be used if you would like to partition a different functioning screen off to the right-hand side. If we wanted traffic up here, we could put the map there. It shrinks the map down substantially, as you can see, so I usually don't use it as often, but it can be used if you'd like. So we'll come out here. And then everything else on the left side, we can set our home address the same way we would enter an address in. Points of interest, we can adjust what types of points of interest we want the map to display. If I want to tap on food and drink, and then what types of food I want to display to search for, we can certainly do so. It's another favorite. Back in map settings over here. We can come to additional settings at the bottom. points of interest on the map. And this is the permanent settings for the points of interest that are displayed on the map at any given time. For example, again, food and drink. I can come over here, select all types of food and drink, and then that means that those will be displayed on the map when it sees, for example, restaurants, show list. Here's the shopping center, and then I can tap on that point of interest, in this case, Metro Cafe, to get more information from them. There's their phone number, how far away they are away, and they're a 5-minute drive from us. Of course, we can start guidance from here as well. So we'll come back out of here. Contacts are going to scour your phone for contacts that have addresses paired to them so that you can directly navigate to the address in that contact from this window. Receive destinations is going to be destinations sent from your phone, from the BMW Connected app, if you use that. And there's a couple of other options, trips and GPS coordinates on here. Again, the map can be zoomed. You can also spin the controller in the center, which is what I'm doing right now to zoom in or out of the map. Usually a 1/4 mile is about ideal. Okay, so now we'll come home, and that's going to be our navigation system in a nutshell. From here, we've got a couple of other settings I'll mention, particularly in car. So if I come into the car menu, we would be logged into our driver profile right now. One thing I'll do is I'll start at the top and work my way down. Driving information. Trip data, your metrics for long trips or when your data is resetting your trip meter, that can be adjusted over here. We'll go ahead and back out of here. Sport displays are some of the fun toys on the car. You have a G-force meter, some engine and oil temperature gauges over here. More things to experiment with for taking the car off-road. We'll go ahead and back out of here. Now our vehicle status menu, this is showing that our tire pressure may be a little bit low. In this case, it looks like it just hasn't been calibrated. The tires are just going to be zeroed in their pressure. But we can change our tire settings here. If we have all season tires versus summer tires, we can do so. We can reset our tire pressure monitors when we're done. The engine oil level is checked automatically in this car. It will let us know if our oil is ever low. And our check control system is, again, taking us to our tires. This is a place where we can go if we want to manually check the whole car over. And then our service notifications, this is going to tell us what's due and when. Now, if we get close to, for example, needing an oil change, the car will pop up and let us know. So we'll come back out of here. Now, in settings, we've got this bottom scrollable menu here for our settings. General settings are permanent settings on the car, date and time, automatic time zone settings. There's a couple of other things we can do here with the gesture control system, which I'm actually going to turn off for now so it doesn't get in the way. Some sound settings as well. You can also find this in any of the major media menus. And there's several other permanent settings towards the bottom of the menu that you can look through as well. Now we'll go ahead and we'll get started with our driver assistance systems. Now every car is different. It depends on which packages you've got for your BMW. I'll go through the ones on this because you may see similar options on your car, and I'd like to go through them to explain what they do. Now this can also be accessed even from our main menu by pressing this button here with this green ring, and then coming to configure individual. So our frontal collision mitigation system. This system at highway speeds will apply your brakes if a car in front of you goes to slam on their brakes. It isn't specifically designed to stop the car. That's really up to you. This is just getting the car preloaded in a braking phase, such as a panic situation. Now, with mitigation, this car is also capable of steering around the object as long as it doesn't think it's going to go into another one. If it is not able to slow the car down in time, it can deviate left or right of the object in front of you, or the car in front of you that is trying to get around. This is the time for which the system is triggered. We usually leave this on early. It's always the safest. Okay, so we'll come back in. The next one is our side collision warning system. So as we can see above 20 miles per hour, if somebody is on their way into our lane, the car will vibrate the steering wheel And in this case, the car will also will make a steering input just far enough out of the lane so that the car does not get sideswiped. That's, of course, if the lane next to the car, if the unoccupied lane is available. Usually we leave that on. Now, our lane departure warning, this is available over 40 miles an hour. This is also the green lane symbol with the car at an angle that we see on our instrument cluster. That popping up is showing that the system is then active. Medium is usually okay. Early and reduced over here is going to, again, judge when the system is triggering based on this bubble that is putting around the car. Medium is usually a good one-size-fits-all. Now, if steering intervention is on in this case, then if you go to leave a lane without your turn signal, then the steering wheel will also tug back against you. If you do not want the steering wheel pulling back on you for leaving a lane without a turn signal input, you can turn steering intervention off. Also, the active blind spot monitors, if you're about to go into somebody else. Late is fine. You can also put this on medium as well if you want the system to let you know when a vehicle next to you is a little bit closer. However, we do recommend leaving steering intervention on for this one, because by the time that kicks in, that's usually something that can wind up saving you from getting dangerously close or possibly colliding with another vehicle. So we do recommend leaving steering intervention on for that one. Okay. And that's going to be our basic functions. There's also a pedestrian warning system built into the car that's on with all of these functions permanently. If someone were to run out in front of the car at less than highway speeds, the car is going to slam on the brakes as hard as it possibly can. It will activate the braking system, and it is going to attempt to stop itself. Anything above 6 inches in height will trigger this system by going out in front of the car. Small, medium-sized, large animal, any child or a larger human being, adult, will trigger this system. It's very, very effective. It reacts very quickly. Okay, now we have a green ring, which means all of these systems are on. For example, if we wanted to turn one of them completely off, like our lane departure warning system, we would have an orange ring over here showing that the systems are partially enabled. Again, every system permitted on is a green ring, as we can see. So we'll come back out of here, go back to our car menu, and then back to our settings menu. Furthermore, displays, there's some adjustments. This car has a head-up display. Your BMW may or may not have it, again, depending on the options, model, and packages that you've gotten with the car. There's some adjustments here for the height of the display as well as the brightness. There's a few other adjustments as well. So we'll come out of here. Doors and access menu. We have some adjustments for our tailgate, our opening height of the tailgate. If we have a low-hanging garage, for example, we can dial down that height so the tailgate doesn't open too high when it does. And in this case, we're in an X5. We have both units powered. The upper and the bottom tailgate are powered on this car. Our BMW digital key. Now, this is the key card that comes with the car. Comes in this little pouch over here. To activate this, we would place the key on the charging pad equipped on this car right over, it's going to be just off camera over here. We would place it just like this, with the logo facing up is fine, in the center of the charging pad, and then we would tap activate digital key. At that point in time, we would have a confirmation message that the key is activated. Now, when using the digital key, this is a passive key, not active key. There's no battery in this key. So to use this, we do need to remove the key from the pouch, take it out of our wallet, wherever you put it. And we would hold the back of the key up to the door handle, like so, on the driver's door handle in this case, and this would unlock the car. And then to start the car, we would have to place the key on top of this charging pad, again with the logo on the key facing up, and then we would be able to start the car and drive it. When getting out of the car, we can also touch this again to the door handle to lock the car, but that is how the digital key works. It's definitely also a good idea to carry the key as a spare. If something ever happened to your key fob, you'd still be able to drive the car home. So we'll come out of here. Comfort access features, we can have the car lock or unlock when walking to or from the car respectively. For example, the car will unlock when we are 7.5 feet from the driver's door, and it will lock when we're 10.5 feet away from the car. They give you a little bit more room for the car locking when walking away, so that if you leave the car and immediately walk around to the back to open the hatch, the car's not going to lock on you. And then lock automatically, lock after starting to drive. Most of these are good to leave on. Fold mirrors in when locked. This is a good feature to have so that your mirrors are folding automatically. They will also unfold when you go to unlock the car. Interior lighting. On many of these, the lighting is adjustable. We can adjust the brightness of the interior lighting. As you can see right now, we have blue. There's different colors that we can go through in the car. Here's a lilac. Green is also a big hit. Orange, of course, the classic BMW color, and then bronze. And then, of course, there's white over here, and we can combine these with different colors. We'll leave this on blue for now. Dynamic light. So on the light accents on your doors, when the doors are opened, this will be out of camera, but if we turn this on and we open a door, the LED strips on the doors will then pulse red. This is supposed to be for bystanders outside the car seeing that the doors open. It's also a great way to know which doors open if you inadvertently do not close your door all the way. Dim for night driving. We'll dim the lights as such when the ambient light around the car is darker. A lot of people like to leave this turned off because we like the glow from the inside of the car. Moving down, we have some climate control functions on this car. Many of the things that are found right over here can be adjusted in here. The synchronize option, if this is on, this means that the rest of the car is going to follow whatever setting the driver's control is set to. So for example, if I turn the temperature up to 73 degrees on the driver's side, the entire remainder of the car will also be at 73 degrees. That also goes for the fan speed as well, and where the air is coming out, face or head. Now, if any control surface is adjusted after the fact, additional from here, then this will deactivate this. If I make an adjustment to the passenger side, for example, synchronize will no longer be on, and the passenger side is now individualized from the rest of the car. So we'll leave sync on. Air quality, we usually leave this on automatic. This means that if dust, and in some cases pollen, smoke, anything like that are on the way inside the car will automatically close the vents. And then we'll open them back up once everything's cleared. So we usually leave this on automatic. Heating and ventilation. There are some adjustments in here to bias the car 3 degrees plus or minus towards cold or hot. In this case, on the driver's side, we also have an adjustment for the passenger side as well. This is good for just a fine-tuned adjustment. So if you want the overall temperature in the car to be, in this case, 72 degrees, but you like the air on your face to be blowing a little bit warmer or a little bit cooler, that's what this is for. Otherwise, we leave this in the middle for most of the time. AC on, of course. And there's adjustments for the second row of seats on this car as well. If you're driving an X7 model, there will be a third row adjustment option as well on this menu. Seat and armrest heating. This turns the armrest heaters on with the seat heating. Those buttons, of course, are over here, driver and passenger, 3 levels for each. And the armrests on the center, in the case of this X5, are heated. So the center glove box armrests are heated. Also, the armrests on the doors are heated as well. Turn sync on. Climate control rules. So what we can do here, we have some automatic temperature settings that will trigger, in this case, below a certain temperature, which you can dial in. Then, in this case, the heaters for the seats will come on. And these are adjustable. This is very good for wintertime settings. We also have an adjustment here for the heated steering wheel. So below 50 degrees, we can have this also turn this on. Preconditioning ventilation. We can set a time for our blower fan to turn on automatically. If we know we're going to be in the car at a certain time, we can do so. And this will just help circulate air through the car. Or in this case, with the remote start equipped on this car, we would go into the remote start to check this off. By default, this will be turned off when your vehicle is brand new. So you will have to go in and you would check it off. There's a disclaimer to go through. And at this point, you'd be able to remote start the car. To do so, to remote start your car, the best way to do this with the key, from the BMW symbol on the key, you would press the button one time. If the car has been parked for at least a half hour just to help wake the car up, you would press the button one time, and then within 3 seconds of doing so, you would press 1, 2, 3 more times. You don't want to press 1, 2, 3 too quick, just 1, 2, 3 additional times after that first press with this enabled. Now at this point, the lights on the outside of the car will flash, and a few seconds later, the engine will start and go back to its default climate control temperature automatically. AC or heat, the car will make the decision for whichever one it needs depending on which time of the year it is. Now, once this is running, the parking lights from the outside of the car will glow. So if you're starting the car from inside an office somewhere, you'll be able to know that the engine's running because the parking lights will be glowing on. And the engine will run for about 14 minutes before it turns itself off automatically. Now, if you press 1, 2, 3 additional times while the engine's running, that will also prematurely shut the engine off. You can do so, you can turn the car on and off twice per drive cycle. If you wanted to start the car a third time remotely, in that session, you would have to come into the car and press the start-stop button and turn the car on and off manually to divide that up to a separate cycle as your remote start function. Now, finally, we have our key button settings here at the bottom right of that settings menu. Right now, when the unlock button is pressed on the key, only the driver's door is unlocking. If you wish all the doors to unlock, and this also goes for putting your hand on the door handle for comfort access systems, then you would select all doors instead of just driver's door. Now, finally, exiting this menu, there's a couple of other things we'll talk about real quick. The owner's manual, which again, these are in the car menu. So from the home screen one more time, just in review. Car, and then down to owner's manual. This is a very effective area in the car. Much of what's in this area, this page of different content within the owner's manual, are programmed specifically to your vehicle and the options that are in your BMW, different from someone else's. Operating Tips, for example, has animated videos that give you an overall view of all the major functions on the car. They're narrated.
The system automatically switches off the engine.
Turn these down just a little bit.
This prevents
So we do recommend watching all the videos inside this menu. We'll come back out of here and go in. That was Owner's Manual, Operating Tips. There's other areas as well, quick reference areas, picture search, keyword search. But this is definitely a good place to go to learn the car quickly and efficiently. So we'll come back out of here. The last we have here on the left side is our apps menu. Now there's various apps on here, and BMW will add to this list over time. Much of this can already be found from the areas we've already visited in the car. For example, here's an additional weather app that we can go to. But we will be adding content here over time. So we'll come back out of here to the home menu. And that's going to be a good overview of our iDrive system. And then in additional videos, we'll talk about other functions of the car as well. Thanks very much.